What's happening, guys? Welcome to the Galactic Explorers podcast, episode 54. Happy New Year to everyone there. I hope you had a good Christmas as well. I'm recording this part after the fact. It turns out when we were just recording the podcast, we had a little accident, and it only started recording towards the end of the episode. We didn't want to re-record it all together, so I thought I'd just run through what we talked about beforehand. And then once I finished, I'll just explain what Jeff was talking about, and the next part starts. So in this episode of the podcast, we're going to be talking about No Man's Sky's 2018, like the review. Basically, it's just a review of their year and what they've gone through. So let's get straight onto it. So we'll start off with December 28th, 2017. So obviously the year beforehand. Right at the end of the year, Waking Titans Season 2 began. Obviously, Waking Titan is the ARG that was surrounding No Man's Sky. Talking about it was basically focusing on like the story of the simulation of No Man's Sky. So that Season 2 began. Jeff's main memory of that was obviously when he took part in the Boston live drop that occurred. Then March the 29th of 2018, Sean Murray announces that the next major update for No Man's Sky would be next, and it would be released in the summer of 2018, and it will be also arriving on Xbox One, which is, I think it's fair to say that it was a massive success for the release of on the Xbox console. July 24th, 2018, No Man's Sky Next is released on all consoles and PC. And then 29th of October 2018, No Man's Sky launches The Abyss, which was their aquatic update for No Man's Sky. And then on the 22nd, so almost just under a month later, on the 22nd of November, No Man's Sky launches Visions, which is their more generic update to the game. So if we go through some stats as well, as of writing this, there was 118,399 reviews of No Man's Sky on Steam, which is so with the success of obviously Next and the Abyss and Visions. There are now currently 61,845 positive reviews compared to 56,554 negative reviews, which is great to see because, you know, it pushes the fact that now they've worked so hard, Hello Games have worked so hard on making No Man's Sky, that vision that they originally saw, that it's come to fruition, hasn't it? It shows that it is a more complete game, it is a success, and it has pushed the fact that all the negative reviews, even you know, 2 years coming up to 3 years later, we're still getting more positive reviews, making it the game that it should be. Also, the most recent reviews, when I was actually looking up these facts, I think there was around nearly 1,500 reviews, and most of them were being classed as mostly positive. Also, so on the run up to the release of Next, so in July, obviously Next was released on the 24th, so that was almost the end of July. On the run up, there was less than 1,000 each month. So, you know, all the months leading up to the release of Next was 1,000, and then in July there was 14,000 players on average for that month of July, and then once the next month started, there was an average player base of 28,000 for August, and then since then it's stayed around the 4,000 mark each month. So that's a great. It just shows, like, not only is it new players that are playing the game and still playing the game, it also shows that previous players are sticking with the game as well. Have come back and sticking with it to carry on playing. Right, so we'll get back into the footage that you're about to see. Jeff is talking about what he wants to see improved in No Man's Sky in 2019 is mainly talking about the multiplayer aspect and that kind of not mess, but the kind of issues that No Man's Sky is suffering from currently now. So we'll come back to this. I'm really sorry about this weird thing what happened with the recording. So thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.
You don't have to be Elite Dangerous. Like, you can be halfway. You know what I'm saying? Like, this game is arcadey, so give us an arcadey like flight battle. You know what I'm saying? Like, just give us something. Like, I don't know. That's just me. That's me. I don't know.
Yeah,
there's not much more. There's not much more I really can say that I really want with the game. I mean, there's a story there if you want to follow the story path. That's a check mark. The worlds look way better than they did at launch. That's a check mark. The building, how you can do base building that's done. That's a check mark. Underwater exploration is done. There's an actual sub now. So that's a check mark off. Like, it's pretty much everything is done besides that last piece for me. Like, just give me that last piece. Like, and then my mind would be like, wow, this is really good now. Like, there's a reason why I can turn this on every once in a while and actually play and hook up with people or do something. Like, as of right now, I've done everything that I could do. It's just, there's no point now. It's just...
Yeah, because there's no sort of meaningful reward for just exploring and finding a new system.
No, not at all.
Yeah. No, I'd echo everything that you said, Jeff. I would add, though, as I said earlier, I want to see a bit more variety in the plants and the creatures.
Yeah,
that's
something that needs to get addressed too. So I understand that.
And what I'd really like is them to fix the galaxy map. The navigation around the galaxy map is just awful.
Yeah.
I hate it. Look at Elite Dangerous. Okay, it's a big galaxy, but they manage to let you navigate. You can search for places. You can.
They should give us an option to actually zoom way far out of the galaxy map.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to, like, say if you wanted to make a set point, like a waypoint somewhere as close to the center. So you don't have to physically push forward on your toggle switch or whatever and, like, make your game go to that point to set a waypoint. Like, you're able to zoom out and then put a waypoint there and then bang. Like, that's your destination point. You know what I'm saying? Like, it should be quick and easy. It shouldn't have to take you a long time to set waypoints if you want to go from one place to the other,
It's just horrible.
Yeah.
Just horrible. And I forgot about the other one, which is I want to be able to get rid of some spaceships that I've collected that I no longer want.
Can you not sell them?
You can't get rid of them.
Can you not?
You can just swap them.
So I never get to the point where I have too many ships. So
no, well, I was foolish and I gathered a load of crap, hulks of junk, and I don't want them.
And they need to give us at least more than one multi-tool. Like, say, a multi-tool set up for scanning, and a multi-tool set up for mining, and a multi-tool set up for, damage. You know what I'm saying? Like, trying to fit everything into one, like, you always sacrifice something, and it's just, man, if I could just have, like, even one more multi-tool, like, give me, like, two options I could just switch through. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I've got a backpack that'll let me carry tons of resources, and yet I can't carry another tool.
Yeah, exactly.
Either that or just increasing the slots on the multi-tool, the amount of slots. So obviously you can't put more than 3 upgrades, can you? Per
you certainly can't. Even with the biggest, you can't put everything on there that you might want to.
No.
One thing
at the same time.
One thing they really screwed up on that I hated with Next was, you remember, like, pre-Next, you could find a ship, right? And it didn't make a difference if it was a small ship or a big ship or whatever. You could always find a really small ship, but have it have 48 slots.
Yes.
Now they're staggered and when you see a small ship, it's always going to be like, oh, the max you can get is 19 slots and that's it.
Right.
Like, I miss being able to get small ships with big slots. Like, because all the S-Class, like, say the S-Class fighter ships, they all kind of generally look the same. I mean, there's different variants, but they're all, like, you could tell, okay, this is going to be a 48-slot ship, or whatever it is for a fighter. I forgot, 32 or 38 or something.
Wouldn't that make sense, though? So obviously, a big ship would have bigger cargo capacity.
I know, but then you're limiting the variety that you can pick from. Like, I understand what you're saying, like, okay, but this isn't a realistic game either, don't forget. This is an arcade game. If they want to be realistic, then why are they doing it only for ship slot sizes? Mm-hmm. Like, they should be able to get whatever you want, because, like, okay, so how about this? Like, the hauler ships, okay? They're always, the 48 slot hauler ships are always those ones that have the 2 wings on the side. Like, the really big ones. And, like, but there's so many other different designs of hauler ships out there. But if you want a 48 slot S-class hauler, it's always going to be pretty much the same exact design, and that's what you have to deal with. Opposed to before that, like, you could have any type of hauler have 48 slots. So, like, I don't know. Like, I don't like how they limited your choices on end game ships to only a few variants, where before it was wide open. Where you had you could physically choose. Cause you know how many times, like, I went to a station and I seen, like, a small little fighter ship and I'm like, damn, that's really nice. And, like, I go up to it and, like, shit, I can only put, so the max is 19 slots. Opposed to 38 or whatever it is for a fighter ship. Like, that would be awesome to have one with max slots in it. You know, so I don't like you're limiting players to make choices, instead of picking up something that you like, and you want to spend a lot of time in building, now you're telling players that, like, hey, you got to pick this particular type of ship, and you got to deal with it, pretty much. Like, I don't know. It's
to me, it seems like that's how, like, most, like, especially, like, say, like RPGs, for example. Obviously, I know it's kind of like, I mean, you say it's like an arcade game, but it's kind of an RPG where you're making your own role within the game. You're playing a certain way if you want to be a hauler, like a trader or anything, or a pirate or whatnot. But, like, with RPGs where you tend to pick a weapon because of its, say, like an axe will be slower than, like, just like a normal sword, wouldn't it, kind of thing? And like, oh, if I'm going to pick this, I'm going to have the drawback of being slower, but I'm going to cause more damage or whatnot.
Yeah, but it's generally, like, you have a lot more options in RPGs. Like, if they're, like, your end game weapon, there's probably maybe, I don't know how many different ways it could look, opposed to where this game, like, dude, I'm telling you, go on and look at different types of, like, S-class fighters. They all have, like, the pontoons on the side. I mean, they're all almost exactly the same, besides maybe a little bit different wing or this and that. Like, I just wish it would just be opened up like it was before, pre-next.
Surely, though, that's the whole point in them allowing us to have multiple ships, though.
Yeah, 6.
How many do you want? How many are you going to fly?
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so that means that you could have, okay, how about this? So that means that you have one regular fighter, one regular science ship, explorer, and then one regular hauler. Mm-hmm. And then you have the exotic ships. So, like, you have to pick and choose. I mean, so that's pretty much almost 5 or 6 right there in itself.
It doesn't bother me because, like, I mean, for me, the way that I play is I tend to just pick one ship that I want to use, and I just try to find the best version of that ship. I mean, Kings know this when you play multiplayer with me. Like, the way that I play, I don't pre-make loads and loads and loads of stuff. I just pretty much make it when I need it. So, like, the launch fuel and the fuel to jump to different systems, I don't store loads of it in my ship or anything. I just make two or three and then just leave it and then go on to the next. Whereas Kings, he will make about 20 of them and then he'll have them in his ship. And then, but he's got a bigger storage spaces in his ship than I have. But I suppose it depends on the way that you play. So for me personally, it doesn't matter because I found an S-class ship?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
An S-class fighter ship which had some like 29 or 30 slots or something for 17 million or something like that. And I got that, and then that's sort of because I'll the amount of times that I'll fill that up, I'll be able to count on one hand. Because I just don't store that much stuff on my ship, and I never will. And I probably would never end up buying another ship unless I find a better one than the one that I currently fly.
And I wish they would give us something to spend money on because, I mean, like, there's nothing for me to, like, I have, like, almost, like, 1.5 billion in credits. Like, there's nothing for me to spend money on.
No, that I agree. That's one thing that definitely needs figuring out. I mean, it's the same with Elite Dangerous. Like, you get to a certain point. Like, my dad's played. I forgot how many hours he's put into it. Probably close to like 5,000 hours or something, if not more. He's played it for like 4 years straight.
Damn.
And he's got every single ship that you can get on the game. In fact, no, he's working towards the new Alien ships that have just come out.
Yeah,
the recent update. But he's got like billions of credits or whatever in the game, and like he can buy everything that he wants. And he's got one of every single ship specced out to the max that you can get specced out to. So yeah, but no, I agree. There's definitely aspect, but I think it's obviously it's trying to sort it out for everyone though, isn't it? As well, like you can't do one thing without making one set of players upset, and so on. So like I'm not happy.
Everybody gets a trophy.
Yeah, well, I'm not happy with
everybody's got to be a winner.
I'm not happy with like the way that they've done multiplayer. Like, yeah, you should be able to just see everyone, etc., and all that, and you should be able to have more than 4 people play it in the team at once. But the whole PvP thing, I just don't think most people tend to want to play No Man's Sky with that in mind now. I just don't think. I think beforehand when multiplayer was just in theory, everyone was thinking, oh, we can play this and do this and this, in PvP, whatever. But now I think since it's been released, people just look at it and don't think, oh, it's not. Yeah, it's because obviously it's the state that it's currently in, but they just don't want to play it that way.
Honestly, I think they released PvP in a really half-assed way. And if they actually put a lot of effort into it and actually did it the right way, I think people will be a lot more excited about it. But currently, what we have right now is basically it's garbage.
But then again, though, like I said about multiplayer in the first place, they never had previous experience in doing PvP servers or anything.
Okay, I get that. I mean, so spend less time making fireworks and more time in working on multiplayer. Like, how about that? Like, that's a
yeah, but it still would have come out originally in the same state, wouldn't it? Because they've not had the experience in doing it. Yeah, sure, they would have probably got to the finished product quicker for multiplayer. But I just don't think the audience for No Man's Sky is pro PvP. Like I said, I think with PvP as well, I think it panders towards more of a simulation style, because like you said, like the whole nerfed weapons and everything as well, and like the way that you talk about like sorting the weapons out and things, it sounds more like a simmy style where you're trying to find the best combination of upgrades and all that stuff. That would lead itself towards more of a simulation game rather than an arcade style. To me, anyway, that's what it sounds like to me. So, but no, I definitely agree that multiplayer needs fixing in its current state. Variety, yes. I just think that's a bit lower down in the pecking order, perhaps. And then I think I want to see cosmetics for your ships come out. So like being able to repaint your ship.
I want to build my own ship. How about that?
Yeah, that would be interesting to see if they add some kind of
give us the pieces where it pulls for the procedural generation and let us have a ship builder or whatever and
that could
build our own.
Spend your money on
our own ship.
Yeah,
exactly, and that's be something we can spend money on. I don't know why. I don't know.
I think for that though, we need to get more ships in the game to begin with anyway. Like newer ships, because we'll still end up getting like ships that pretty much just look like the ones that are currently in game anyway.
I don't know, man. If you could actually have the choice to link all the pieces together, you could make some really cool looking ships.
It'll end up looking like goddamn what's that? Spore. Do you remember Spore?
Yeah.
Where you could create your own ships and that, and it always looked horrendous. No one ever made a cool looking ship in Spore. It always just.
I'm gonna tell you what, man. I thought the same thing about base building, and there's a lot of creative people out there, and they've made some really cool bases. So I mean, those people right there, like, yeah, you know what? You're gonna have those idiots out there that make some like really shitty looking ships, but there's gonna be people out there that are gonna be really good, man, and they're gonna make some really good ships. I'm telling you. Give people creative freedom, and you'll get a good amount of people in that game that are going to produce a lot of good stuff. So.
It's weird though, because with ship creation, I don't think it'll be to the extent of what obviously, base building is, because with base building you obviously can fit a lot of parts together, whereas I think it'll be very limited with ship building. I think you're pretty much a bit limited to like a cockpit, so you choose a cockpit. You choose like a wing style or whatever, a body style, and then a tail style. And I think that you'll literally be limited to like 4 or 5 parts.
Yeah, well, it could be like that, or it could be more complex.
It could be.
Yeah, I think it could be a lot more complex, man, than what you're making it out to be. Like only 3 interchangeable pieces. Like I think it could be a lot more complex than that. Because there's some of those ships do have like just a lot of pieces like hanging off the wing, like or underneath the wing, or. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like little tiny, like, just pieces that are on the ship itself that could be interchangeable and stuff. Like, there's a lot of. I think it's a little bit more detailed than you might.
Oh, no, I don't mean those things. I mean, like the wing in general. So, like, you'd only get, like, like, all the wings that we've seen in game currently, you can only switch with them. Obviously, the little pieces on the, like you said, like, the built on rockets and stuff, you can change them. But I don't think, like, the overall shape of the ships will change that much if they were customizable. I think obviously, yeah, you'd be able to say if you always saw like I don't know a rocket launcher on one certain ship, but you never see it on another. If you stuck that on it, it's still going to in general look like the same ship, isn't it? It's just like that tiny one bit is going to look a little bit different. But,
even though like they already have ships now that are like asymmetrical, so like they don't even match up. They're not equal on both sides. So I mean, like, so you'll have a ton of different options to choose from.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like you'll make. There's a lot of there's a big creative point there that if you really wanted to spend time, you could really make something look pretty cool. But I don't know. Give me something to spend money on.
Yeah. It is. We do need something like that. I think I'd also like them to see. I think I've talked about this a few times. I want to see them actually work on the whole economy of No Man's Sky a lot better. And like I said, that's one way you could spend your money. Like obviously making a massive trading empire.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's hard to do if you can only see 4 people and have to be in your party.
Well, I mean, it doesn't even have to be between actual real players. It can be just between the systems. But the systems, I think the systems are that broken that it can take you fucking years. Like it could take you like weeks and weeks in real life to find a decent buyer for whatever.
A good trading route.
Yeah, a good trading route. Yeah.
If they do that, then they have to take away the fact that like when you sell stuff, like the price goes down way quick.
Oh yeah, but that's what they're doing in Elite Dangerous. If you oversell a specific product in a system, the price of it goes down. The selling price goes down, and vice versa. If you end up buying loads and loads.
I mean, have you tried selling stuff like in like as stations in No Man's Sky, like bulk? I'm talking like bulk stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like. So say if you sell 20 things to that space station, if you go back up and you sell another 20, like the negative amount that you get hit with is way too much for the second time selling.
But I think it works a little bit differently though, because obviously with some things in No Man's Sky, obviously you can have 250 on your ship, like in one stack, whereas obviously other things you can
just 5,
yeah. And I think
but. Even still, I mean, I'm just saying, like, just selling a huge amount. Like, say if you're selling 100 stasis devices, if you go back and sell another 100 stasis devices, like right after that, like it's going to be like negative like 33% or something like that next time.
A stasis, one of those is what you call, isn't it? It's a rare commodity, and if you flood the market with that in that system with 100 of them, it's no longer a rare commodity, is it? The value is going to go down.
No, I get it. It's just that it makes finding those really profitable trade systems only good for one time, basically. You can only sell there to make a good amount of money that one time, and then after that, it's garbage.
Yeah, I think the whole I think that's more of a case of the units of what you can store on your ship then needs sourcing out, because I mean some of these things look like they're still tight, because obviously some of the like the things what we can store like 250 of them on your ship look about the same size as some of the things that you can only store 5 of.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make sense to begin with, obviously. And then those 5, plus they're 5, you can only store 5, that means it's a rarer commodity anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And it puts it on the same level as other things, isn't it, of rarity. So, and like in Elite Dangerous, it takes longer for the things to go down in value, but obviously the more that you do it, obviously the more it does go down in. But yeah, I definitely want to see some kind of change to that, because it's just a broken system, isn't it? Like, I mean, I think, what did I find?
Yeah, I don't think there's particularly any incentive to be a trader.
No.
No.
I mean, the only reason why the market's there in the first place is if you need to buy, a certain resource to create something, isn't it? And that's it.
And because they said at the very beginning, you can be what you want.
Yeah.
So
I mean, technically you are a trader, but you're not exactly making your millions doing it, are you, currently?
No. I'm actually astonished that we've been talking about No Man's Sky for as long as we have been.
I know, yeah. I don't think I want to see them do more of these, like the Abyss DLC, where it focuses on one specific biome, being obviously underwater with that one, and improving. Obviously, I know we've got Visions, but that was more of an overall, in general one, wasn't it? Didn't focus on a specific biome. In fact, he added more biomes to the game. So I'd like to see them working on specific biome planets and such. I'd like to see them add, it's not technically variety, but newer species of, like the bigger species of animals to the planet. So like the worms. I'd like to finally see them add the worms into the game. That would be cool.
I've enjoyed the community events. I'd like to see those go forward. Jumping in, being given a task, go and do it.
Well, obviously they have improved it slightly in the last one, didn't they? Where it was an actual community. Well, the last 2 where there were actually community goals where everyone worked towards getting a higher tier of
we've got a
rewards. We've got a 4th one. I would get mine, but they'll overrun me. So, but yes, I feel like that is our review of No Man's Sky for 2018.
Yeah, Jeff's fed up talking about it now.
Yes.
No, I'm good.
We'll always find something to complain about. Yes, so that has been our review for No Man's Sky this past year. It's been an eventful year. It was a slow burner to begin with, so they got halfway through the year, and then kapow, as the old Batman comics would say. We got a full face full of new goodness from that point onwards. Thank you guys for joining me today.
It's always a pleasure, man.
Thank you. And I think what we've got going this week. So this will come out on the Tuesday, which will be the 8th, and then we'll have episode 2 of Game and Geek podcast on the Thursday. That'll come at your face, Oz. I think it'll be myself, Craig, and Kings. Are you joining us, Kings?
Maybe. Depends what day you record.
Possibly tomorrow night, I think it is, if you're free.
Oh, maybe. No, we'll
let me know. We'll
discuss it tomorrow.
You'll either see Kings or you won't see Kings, basically. So yes, thank you guys, and we shall see you next time.